Anyways.
Oh my God. Ellie? Ellie. I'm sorry. Jesse! They're down here!
Again, to me, here's the thing. To me, the better story writing would have been to take Tommy out. That would have been the better story writing, in my opinion. Because, like, Joel's literally the center of the story. And I get that they're moving center of the story to Ellie, but there's no Ellie without Joel. Fucking sucks. Yeah. Even if he just said something like, "Look away, Ellie," there, like anything like that, it would have made a huge difference on that scene. Joel's been through some shit, man. You know, falling down, getting spiked through him. He was even talkative then. Like, Joel's been through some shit. Like, he could have said anything. Literally anything. But nope. Just laid there. He could have even said, "I'm sorry," you know, for the whole lying to her. Because that was like...
Hey.
Probably something he wanted to say before he was out the door.
Could I sit down, please?
Yeah.
Again, to me, it totally would have just made more sense for it to be Tommy. Then he could have done like a story of the town falling apart and, you know, Ellie and Joel. It just feels poorly written
Marie
there.
wants to make sure you're eating.
She can't stop us.
To have the guys that we would need to do this smart, we'd be leaving Jackson vulnerable.
So they just get to get away with this?
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, but that's what's happening.
What if we get hit by hunters again?
Is this you talking or is this her?
It's a valid point.
If it were you or me, Joel would be halfway to Seattle already.
No, he wouldn't.
He absolutely fucking would be.
Well, we don't even know for certain that they're from Seattle.
Washington Liberation Front. That's what you said was on those patches.
What if they stole those jackets?
That's...
What if the WLF moved?
What are you doing? You know what?
Joel would have been Doom Guy at this point, just jamming to rip and tear.
I'm leaving tomorrow. And if you want to come with me, great.
You have no idea what you're walking into. You don't know how large that group is, how armed.
I don't care. You can't talk me out of this.
Give me a day to talk to Maria. Okay? There's got to be some folks you can spare.
And if she won't budge?
Well, I'll figure something out. One day. Please.
Fine.
I kind of get Tommy's character being like this. That's why, again, it still would have made more sense to me if it was Tommy and not Joel.
Okay.
But it also comes down to the idea of like it comes down to the idea of like okay, these guys know where your camp is now. They just killed Joel. Like they're clearly a bit fucking psychopathic because they blew his leg off and then beat him to death with a golf club. Those people gotta die. They're coming back. They know you got supplies. It's the end of the fucking world. They're coming back with a fucking army. Guaranteed. Like, you got supplies. It's just humans. And as far as Tommy goes, I feel like Tommy has, A, his wife in his head screaming at him. B, he has Joel in his head telling him, don't worry about it. And C, he's got him in his head saying, I want to fucking kill the people who just killed my brother. So Tommy's got it rough right now because he's 2v1 at the moment. But I think safety of the camp would be going after these people. I don't think it would be letting them get away with it. Especially if you know that they probably have more people. And honestly, it shouldn't even be in question. They should have been out immediately looking for these people while the tracks are still fresh. That many people, they're probably on foot. You got horses.
I want to stop at his house before we leave. I just have to pick something up. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And to me, the biggest flaw in it, you know, minus how Joel died, but the biggest flaw in it is the fact that they're talking about the town's safety. People know where you're at, and they know you got a fuck ton of supplies. The apocalypse, okay? They're gonna go back, they're gonna get their people, and there's gonna be a fucking bloodbath here because they want what you got. It's just, it is that simple.
Horses. Looks like Tommy.
Safety of the camp would be chasing them down.
The stables locked down.
Fucking Tommy. We'll figure something else out on the way. A car or a horse or something.
Okay.
This makes getting to Seattle a lot harder.
Then it's gonna be harder.
You can still change your mind, you know?
I know.
Just don't want you to feel like you have to.
Ellie. You go. I go. End of story.
And to
You need
me,
get your backpack.
I hid it by the east gates. I figured we'd want to slip out that way.
and to me, again, it just makes so much more sense that like it would have been Tommy. And then Joel went, and Ellie went after Joel. Like, I'm just saying, it would have made a lot more sense in my head. Because Joel would have went on a fucking rampage. And Ellie, Joel wouldn't have brought Ellie. He would have left Ellie here, and Ellie would have went after him. That's what makes sense up here to me. I'm It just makes no fucking sense to me to kill Joel there. And again, there is one part I'm glad about. It's at the beginning of the game because it's the only fucking line I read from that fucking cuck who came in here and spoiled the game. It's the only line I read, and of course had to put it first line, but luckily it happened at the start of the game. Otherwise I was going to be thinking about that shit the entire fucking game. Then it kind of would have killed it for me. But he just went out like old Betsy, you know? It doesn't make sense. You know why it didn't make, like, huge difference? No. Just a moment.
What do you need? I can go get it.
I want to do it.
Okay.
I'm okay. Come on.
I guess some people probably compare it to Joel's daughter dying
I'll
at the
hang out down
first of The
here.
Last of Us.
Thanks.
And for me, like, yeah, that fucking hit hard. Like, the beginning of Last of Us 1 was amazing, but you also had no attachment to the daughter from an entire game. And I mean, Last of Us was an amazing game with amazing characters, but Joel, I always say Joel brought all the characters together. Joel's the only reason that the characters were as good as they were. Feathers, question mark?
Dino-Nicus.
Giants of the past.
That was a good day.
Also, they didn't, like, have, like, any sign of like, the fact that Joel just saved that one girl's life. No, nothing. Not a damn thing. And that could just be her character, which is fine. But then, like, why make it that Joel saved her type deal? I don't know. It's just, it is weird to me. There's so much with it that I'm just tilting my head at like a puppy dog. Also, burb. The only part I'm happy about is the fact that, like, that was the spoiler I read. I thought I was gonna have to think about that shit all fucking game knowing it was inbound. It's hard to like look at chat and not catch a spoiler like that. Because it was the beginning of it, but I mean, I read like one word and stopped. No, I figured it was inbound too. I figured he was about to be a cuck. Either that, or he was gonna try and sell me something, you know? New overlay. I do overlays for people. It was one or the other. Hey, it's broken. It's kind of weird that he stopped wearing it, though. I figured he'd always wear it, or at least give it to Ellie. It's the watch from his kiddo, from the first one.
Everything okay?
What, did you find Joel's nipple clamps? Ball gag? Porn collection? I mean, here's another thing. Just another quick take. Ellie's girlfriend. Let's say they killed her. Then Ellie, like, goes on a rampage and Joel goes after her. Like, there's so much. There's so much. There's so many different ways it could have been written better there, and it just bothers me.
Maria, I'm headed to Seattle. I wish I could let it go, but I can't. I have to bring these people to justice. Ellie's gonna try to come after me, but stop her. Take her guns, lock up the horses, maybe lock her up.
It'd make sense if this was
Buy me
Joel
some
writing
time
this.
so I can end this. Love you always, Tommy. He's gonna get himself killed.
He should have taken me with him. You should have given us a group to go after those fuckers.
I wish I could.
You gonna try to lock me up?
I'd prefer that you stay.
That's not gonna fucking
I
happen.
prefer that you stay, but I know you better. You going with her?
Yeah.
So you're just gonna sneak out of here?
Yeah.
On foot?
Yeah.
I told the stable to let you out with your horse. Grab some ammo, too.
Thank you, Maria.
Just, Do me a favor and bring my dumbass husband home in one piece, please.
Of course.
All right. Get going. You're losing light.
It's gonna bother me all game because it should have been Tommy. Tommy's a great character and all, but like, it should have been Tommy. Or Ellie's girlfriend, one or the other. It's just
This hunter was on top of him, drowning
weird.
him, and Joel couldn't get to his gun.
Jeez. Were you scared?
Well, I didn't even think. I just ran in there, grabbed his gun, and shot the guy in the face.
How old were you?
14. How old were you when you first killed someone?
We talking infected?
No. Fully conscious, non-fungal person.
10?
Wow. What happened?
Guy was coming at my mom. I stabbed him.
Shit. You got me beat.
Yeah, I'm a real badass. So how lost are we?
We're not.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Game of Thrones done, Joel. Kind of a good comparison, I suppose. It just, like, did they want to piss people off right away? Because I almost closed the game. I'm not even kidding. I almost closed the fucking game.
Hey, have a little faith.
What about those crazy cannibals you said you and Joel ran into? They came after you guys once. Maybe these WLFs are connected to them.
No. It didn't seem like the same group.
Maybe those black market smugglers back in Boston?
Do you not? Joel crossed a lot of people. I don't see the point in guessing.
Okay.
At least until we find out more information.
Yeah, she's not wrong. Definitely not. Well, I think what it was, Rags, is they wanted to get the same appeal to the first game. They wanted to hook you right away, and they just did it so wrong this time. In Last of Us 1, it was very good. Like, that shit hooked you immediately. Right away. No ifs, ands, or buts. You were hooked on the game after that scene at the start. Like, it just... I feel like they wanted to relive that in Last of Us 2, but they did it so wrong. I will say, the one part that I did actually like about that scene was Joel was onto them right away. Like, he knew immediately that something wasn't right. That part was alright. There's just so many ways that they could have done that part differently. I don't know. See, here was my first guess on the first, like, trailer that we got of Last of Us 2. My guess was Joel was already dead. Like, already. He was dead from the first trailer. And Ellie was coping with it. And that was going to be the game. Yeah, it's kind of weird that Joel, well, mostly Tommy, let his guard down, like, to the maximum. Because Tommy was already telling him where they live. Also bothers me that Joel had, like, so much time for so many words. Didn't say a single one. The lack of Joel having lines, yeah. I think I would have been more okay with it if Joel was actually Joel during the scene. But he wasn't Joel. He was just some side off character that no one fucking cared about.